Quick video on how to lubricate a Beretta PX4 Storm. This one happens to be a really beautiful one, co-built by Ernest Langdon and Amy Langdon of Langdon Tactical Technologies and Ben at Boresight Solutions, but this will be the same for any PX4. These videos that we're doing on lubricant are meant to be, hey, you just cleaned your gun and you need to lube it, or you're out in the field and you're doing a bunch of training, shooting the gun hard, and you need to keep it lubed for longevity. So with any firearm video or any firearm work period, make sure the gun is safe and empty, point it in a safe direction, verify it's empty, and then we will break it down. Make sure you don't lose parts, because this is not like the guns that a lot of you guys are used to seeing. If you own one though and you're watching this video, you've probably taken it apart. So again, the premise is, if you've run these guns hard and you're continuing to, you want to get them lubed. So look at these videos from that perspective, or you've just gave the gun a good cleaning job and you're going to lube it up. So we'll start with the slide. Make sure that it's not full of any kind of debris. I've got a chip brush here. I can just kind of wipe out any dust or dirt. Take a rag and kind of wipe it out. Again, what I just said, don't look at this and say, why is he putting lube on there? It should be scrubbed better. This is if you're running them hard, or if you did just clean it. If you look at any of these guns that have been shot, you're going to see surfaces that have finish removed. That's not a big deal. That's part of the reason that we're oiling it. These parts rub. So with this gun, I can just put that in there for a minute so we can see what's happening. But as this slides in this gun, it also rotates, right? You've got a rotating movement. So if we look at the barrel right where my finger is there, as that moves and rotates, there's a rub point. There's numerous points that it is making contact. Those are bearing surfaces. Those points are bearing on each other. Right here, that point is rubbing. These slide rails, those guide rails are rubbing. We'll make sure that those areas are clean. There's a lot of guys now that tell me how dirt and carbon is a lubricant. Well, look, it might provide some lube, but it's definitely not a lubricant. Nobody's going to the oil change shop and having them fill their engine full of soot, right? You put good, clean oil in there. Back to the lube process. Take the slide. We've got it cleaned out the way we want it. I like these chip brushes a lot. Actually, enough that we buy them in bulk and are going to start selling them with Gunfighter gun oil. I'm going to put a little of our lube on here. Gunfighter gun oil is a great lube because it has excellent temperature range that it can operate in. I'm going to wipe that in there. It's non-biodegradable. That means it's never going to get shellacky or scuzzy and sticky. It doesn't have anything added to it, no scents, no colors. That's why we use it. You can see it's clear as water. It's food grade, non-toxic, but it is non-biodegradable. I'm going to look at points like the sights. Sights are oftentimes made out of tool steel. They sometimes don't have the same level of finishes. I'm going to look here at the extractor. I'll wipe a little oil on that, wipe a little oil here, wipe a little oil here. This has a Cerakote finish on it from Langdon, which in itself does a pretty good job of protecting the metal. I'm going to wipe that all out. I'm going to take the barrel. I'm going to wipe the barrel down. This barrel's got a lot going on, man. There's a lot of engineering that goes into this rotating barrel. Make it all work and lock up nice. So wipe that sucker down. I'm going to wipe down the spring. All of these connection points, put a little bit of lube on them. Doesn't need to be crazy. If you're a grease guy, this gun actually is the kind of gun that could be using some grease. So I've got quite a bit of oil in here. I can just knock off any excess. I'm going to drop this barrel back in, right? We've got this lubed. Look for, again, like I said to you, contact points. You can see areas here where finish has started to wear off, and that is okay. That's literally the gun telling you, I need lube right there. I need lube right there. See it? Look for that when you're cleaning your gun. It's a clue as to what you should be adding lubricant to. Get that sucker back together. And right here, I see a couple spots that I want to make sure are wet. Set that down. Now we'll come to this guy. Same thing as with a lot of semi-automatic pistols. These rails, where the rails ride rather, we want to make sure that we've got that good and lubed. Yep. couple other points depending on how much you run your gun. I could come right in here, put a little bit on the slide lock lever. This gun's got a pretty good amount of lube on it, so I'm not going to add a lot of extra. Now, this gun has a lot of similarities to the inner workings of a 92. So you got a lot of moving parts here. Not a bad idea to just put a touch of oil at some of these connection points. Don't let that hammer go forward without controlling it. This right here, this area, especially if you're doing a detail strip, is a good spot for some gun grease. So I've got a chip brush here. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on, not that much though. And I am going to put a little bit of grease here where that hammer, and this one's got a bobbed hammer, which is nice, where it runs back into the works. Wipe any of that excess grease off. You can even use a Q-tip to clean any excess off. But boy, does that do a nice job. It really feels nice and slick. Give her a once over visually. Point the gun in a safe direction. And we are going to reassemble the Storm. Fantastic gun. Probably one of the most underrated fighting pistols on the planet, in my opinion. Ernest and Amy at Langdon Tactical Technologies have really done an incredible job of reinvigorating the public's knowledge on these guns. I'm a fan, and if you have one, ensure that you take good care of it. Keep it wet, keep it lubed. Do right by it, it'll do right by you. PX4 from Beretta. Again, this one from our friend at Langdon Tactical Technologies and Boresight Solutions. AmeriGlow sights on it. Lubed up with Gunfighter gun oil. Keep them wet. Tell somebody you love them. Hey, thanks for watching another tip on how to lube your pistol for everyday use. If you're not subscribed, please do follow our channel. We've got tons of information like this. Drew works very hard on editing these up so you can hear and see them well. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com, Drew behind the camera.